As a kid, my mother would read to me every night, and I couldn't get enough. From Frog and Toad and the Berenstain Bears, to Lord of the Rings and Dr. Zhivago, I devoured every book I could get my hands on. I read so much that it became a fault. Just ask Mrs. Maxon. In her 6th grade science class, she yelled at me for reading Harry Potter while she was teaching. But in the few moments that I was able to pull my head out of my book, I looked around and I realized that not many people loved to read as much as I did. I loved and love to read because of the places I can go and the things I can do within my own mind. And it bothered me that not many other people loved this as much as I did. Ray Bradbury said that you don't have to burn books to destroy a culture, just get people to stop reading them. And we've stopped reading them. As you can see here, since 1978, the percentage of Americans who've read a book, one book in the last year, has decreased by 15%. And it's only one book. This is extremely alarming. Bradbury says that reading is directly related to our culture. And sure, reading can improve your vocabulary and increase your writing skills. Researchers at the University of California, Berkeley and University of Toronto have noticed there's a direct correlation between vocabulary and literacy. But how is reading so important that not doing it can actually change a culture? I'll tell you. Reading can change a culture because reading changes people. When you read a book, you're the director, you're the producer, you control everything. This takes a little bit of effort. It takes some mental capacity, but according to the National Institute on Aging, reading can actually help prevent Alzheimer's disease. As Tyrion Lannister said, a mind needs books as a sword needs a whetstone if it is to keep its edge. When you read, you can actually experience things that you never would or never could in real life. And an interesting thing about that is your brain doesn't distinguish between what is actually experienced and what you've read about. So when Frodo's climbing Mount Doom to throw the ring in a way, you're actually climbing there right with him, at least in your mind. Researchers at Emory University have found that when you read a word such as lavender, it not only activates the language portion of your brain, but the sensory portion as well. So when you read, it's a full mind exercise. Reading can also help us to think in sequence. Baroness Susan Greenfield, a neuroscientist, encourages parents to read to their children because she knows that it teaches them cause and effect. For example, a child reading Where the Wild Things Are can learn that the consequence of causing mischief is getting sent to bed early without supper. Another way reading can help us is that it teaches us, it can actually grow our brains. Researchers at Carnegie Mellon University have done research, and they found that after a 6-month reading program, children with increased reading abilities, the white matter in their language area of the brain has actually increased. As you can see here, all the way on the left, in the dark navy blue, is a hole in the person's white matter of their brain, but all the way on the right, it's been filled after a 6-month reading program. So reading can actually grow your mind. Another way reading can benefit you is when you read books, you have to think about how characters relate and how people and readers apply this to their real life. Researchers at the New School for Social Research in New York City have found that readers of fiction have an increased theory of mind. This idea is very closely linked to empathy, and this has led some to conclude that readers are more empathetic, more conscientious, even better people. And it's also been proven that conscientiousness is a facet of longevity. So, our culture no longer values reading as much as it should, and this is a great detriment to us. We don't value the pursuit of knowledge for knowledge's sake, pursuits like reading and art. And in light of this, I say to you, get lost in a good book. Go rafting down a river with Huck Finn and navigate the deeps with Captain Nemo. Become a reader, become a creator, a doer, a thinker. Become a reader and change your culture. Thank you.